today I'm going to make some lunchbox notes for my nieces and nephews. I'm using Lawn Fawn, Occupy My Heart, and Selfie frames, this little Polaroid type frame. The first thing I'm going to do is start out with my Memento ink and my stamping tool. I really like using a stamping tool because it gives you a crisp image and you're able to re-stamp if for some reason you don't get a good image. And it's really helpful if you're using brand new stamps because sometimes it takes a little while to prime your stamps, and having the ability to stamp more than once in the same position is really nice to get a good image when you're trying to Copic color, and I'll be Copic coloring in just a moment, so it's really useful. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm just going to make 4 little lunchbox notes. So I'm going to do 4 little octopi. And now I'm just going to do some quick Copic coloring using a couple of colors or a few colors. I am not a Copic coloring expert. I know what I like as far as the look and feel, so I really choose colors based on that. I find that once I find colors that I like to blend, I tend to use them a lot. So these are some of my favorite green colors when I go to blend. And I find also that if you're in doubt, if something doesn't look quite right, the more ink that you put down, the better. So I just keep putting ink down until it looks the way that I want it to. I do tend to blend from light to a darker color, then back to light, then to a darker color, and go back and forth between the colors. So I did the light first, I did the mid-tone, then went back to the light, now I'm doing the dark, and then I'll go to the mid-tone, and then I'll finish up probably with the light. That's typically how I color, but that's not necessarily the official way to do it or the best way. It's just something I find useful, and I go back and forth between them. I am also going to take out the colorless blender, and I'm going to dot it a little bit. When it comes to the sea animals, I tend to like to do a little bit of texture so that it looks a little bit like the skin is variegated, and so that's why I just dot with a colorless blender. And then I'm going to take out my white Jelly Roll pen and do a little bit of accents on this. In just a minute I'm going to add some shimmer, and in hindsight I really should have waited until I was done with the shimmer to do the white accents, because the white disappears a bit when you go ahead and you add the shimmer, but you know, hindsight in 2020, so for right now I think it looked pretty good. Now I'm going to jump into the purple. I'm actually going to do purple, pink, and blue for these. So I'm really going to speed up the coloring on these because it is very simple, very, 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 very fun. I love the Lawn Fawn stamps when it comes to the coloring. They're usually pretty easy to color. They're nice images size-wise, and they all kind of interconnect. So they've got a lot of aquatic animals that are really great that you can pair up. This is a very small stamp set, so it's nice when you have a bunch of these little stamp sets to be able to use them in conjunction with each other's. And again, I'm going into a different color now. So I have some pink that I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to finish this up with, again, the same steps, going in with the colorless blender, dotting it a little bit here and there to remove some of the color and give it a little bit more texture, and then with the white Jelly Roll pen to give it some accents. And now the last one I'm going to do is blue for my nephew. He loves blue. And go in with the same steps. I do like doing different colors. So, I mean, you could do them all the same color, but there's something fun about having a couple of different colors. And I did go over the line just a little bit on that, so I used the white Jelly Roll pen to erase some of the error that I had on the outside. And then now going in with just some accents. And now I'm doing the Wink of Stella, and again, I think I would do this first before I do the white Jelly Roll accents next time, just to make it a little bit more predominant. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to my die cut machine and I'm going to cut the selfie frames and a background that is the same size to be able to do a little bit of an ocean view. So I'm using cracked pistachio, salty ocean, and peacock feathers to do a little bit of a background to make it look a little bit like the ocean. And then I'm going to spritz them with water to make them have a little bit of even more of a bubbly effect so that I can have them look a little bit different. And now I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, which took me a long time to line that up and get that the way I wanted it to. And I'm stamping that with Versafine ink. And then I decided to add a little bit of a heart. So I'm going in on all of these and just adding a little bit of a heart, super simple blending, just 2 colors. I did go out of the lines a teeny bit and had to clean it up with my Jelly Roll pen. The thing about red is you don't want to use your colorless blender to fix that. You want to use the Jelly Roll and kind of just erase it. And now I'm using some Ranger Multi-Matte Medium to go ahead and glue the frames to my little ocean views. And again, I want these to be pretty flat because they are going to be in lunches, but I also want them to be held together pretty strongly because they're going to be knocked around a little bit. So they need to be pretty sturdy. So I'm using pretty good weight cardstock as well. And I'm using my stamp tool just to hold them down for just a few seconds while they dry. Now I'm putting just a little bit of Wink of Stella again on my hearts because I like that shimmer. And then now I'm going to glue the little squid, or I guess it's octopi, and put them on the backgrounds. And I'm just going to vary them up a little bit. Some of them I'm going to put to the side, and some of them I'm going to do straight ahead. And then once I've got them all on, the last thing I decided to do is I did go ahead for the pink and the purple one. I did go ahead and put a few little eyelashes on them to make them a little bit more feminine for my nieces. And for the blue and the green, I actually put little googly eyes on them because I liked the look of those. But as you can see, I added a little bit of feminine wispy eyelashes to the pink and the purple, and then the googly eyes. And again, I used Ranger Matte Medium on the googly eyes because you do want those to be adhered very strongly. And that's all there is. And then in the very back, this is where you would personalize them and put in a little note. So there you have it, some super cute lunchbox notes, really to put in anyone's lunchbox. It doesn't have to be for children. It's just a nice surprise and a great pick-me-up when you open your lunch and you see that sweet little note. So I have a question for you. What kind of projects would you like for us to do? Do you like the length of this one where it's a little shorter? Or would you like a little bit more detailed projects? Please write your requests in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like. And if you would like to see more of what we do here at Dory Creative, consider subscribing and getting those notifications. Thank you, and remember, always be creative.